Us English speakers, when learning French, come across the word seulement to express only, like I've only got one external hard drive. But actually, there's an even more common term that if you want to sound and feel more French, you should start using. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's video. Right, the other really common way of expressing only in French is the negative construction ne, que. I came to France thinking the only way to say only was seulement. I just realised I used the word only to describe only. I had never even heard of ne que. But the more time I spent here, the more I was exposed to how both French people and expats speaking French were speaking the language. And I started to realise that I never or very rarely heard the term seulement. I was only hearing que or ne que. It's probably after about a year of being in the country that I started to even use it because I didn't feel confident enough how to use it. I was still using seulement. And don't get me wrong, seulement does mean only. When you watch other French learning videos, they will say how they both mean the same thing, but they're subtly different. I won't go into that too much today, but what I want to share with you are the fascinating results of a poll that I placed on Facebook in two groups of native French speakers. And as you can see, with this very common sentence using il y a, but using either the ne que or seulement, the results are astonishing, so much in favour of using ne que over seulement. So that should already give you confidence in trying to use this new construction, if indeed it is new for you. But let's talk about how you use it. Well, as I'm sure you can see, it is a form of negation, which you can notice by the presence of ne. So just like any other form of negation, like ne pas, ne rien, or ne jamais, in spoken everyday French, the French often drop the ne. In fact, I would say a hell of a lot of the time. It just saves time to drop it. So that can actually come in useful with ne que if you're finding it hard to compute in your mind how to use it. You just simply drop the ne, and we'll look at that in a couple of examples. In fact, you can actually see someone reference this in a kind of jokey way in the comment in one of the polls. What they were asking is, well, where's the third option for if we want to just say que instead of ne que? So a couple of basic examples for how to construct a sentence with ne que. Il n'y a que deux femmes dans l'entreprise. Il n'y a que deux femmes dans l'entreprise. Or in typical spoken French, you would drop the ne, so you would just say il y a que, or y a que. Because the French do love to shorten their sentences to make things faster and of course more confusing for us and our poor ears. So the way you'd commonly hear this with all the shortcuts taken and at full speed would be y a que deux femmes dans l'entreprise. Y a que deux femmes dans l'entreprise. And it's the presence of the que here which lets you know they're talking about only two women. Il n'y a que. So that translates to there are only two women at the company. There are only two women at or in the company. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about when I talk about il y a becoming ya, well, it's a very common shortcut in everyday spoken French. I've made a video on 3 of these common shortcuts and I'll put that in the top right of this video. Il ne reste que de bière. Il ne reste que de bière. Or il reste que de bière. Il reste que de bière. There are only 2 beers left. And like I briefly mentioned, using ne and que can be really difficult for us English speakers because we use simply the one word only. So if you're finding it hard to remember to say ne and que and where to place them in the sentence, just give yourself a break and simply use que instead of ne que. Not only is it making your life easier, but you're not cheating because it's how the French speak themselves. You might also use it to give simple answers to questions. For example, at a shop, the cashier may ask you, il vous faut autre chose, monsieur? Il vous faut autre chose, monsieur? Do you require anything else? And you can answer, non, que cela, or non, que ça, s'il vous plaît. Here, you can't say ne que ça, you have to just say que ça. Il reste combien de bières? Que deux. Que deux. Another thing to note is that you can move the word que in the sentence to change the meaning slightly. Sometimes this subtle difference in meaning is very important to what you're trying to express. It's just like in English how you can move the word only in the sentence to change the meaning. This takes a bit of practice because it's a bit more complex than the previous examples, but with time you become to feel more comfortable with it, just like with anything else. One example would be Le patron n'est que gentil avec moi. Le patron n'est que gentil avec moi. The boss is only kind to me, he's not mean to me, he's not too strict, he's only ever nice. We can compare that to Le patron n'est gentil qu'avec moi. Le patron n'est gentil qu'avec moi. The boss is kind only to me. The boss is kind only to me, as opposed to your other colleagues. Also, I'd just like to point out, you notice there that que becomes QU apostrophe when followed by a vowel, which you hopefully have already learned with je and tu, which become j'aime or j'ai, as opposed to je suis or je parle. This is a very common shortcut and another thing that I've included in my common spoken shortcuts video. Again, I'll post another link in the corner. It's worth noting that the French probably aren't going to pat you on the back when they hear you use ne que, because not all of them are aware that that's something special. That's just how they speak every day. But the fact is, you've used something that is very French rather than translating directly from English to French. And I think that feeling is so much greater than when you just successfully translate something from English to French and it makes sense. But if you want to share your pride with anyone, share it with me. I'll always be happy to give you a virtual pat on the back. This is by no means a deep dive into the grammatical construction ne que, but I just wanted to introduce you guys to something that I didn't know 2 years ago and that I now know is super common in France, and I feel more like a local knowing how to use. If you have any questions on it, let me know down in the comments and I will be happy to help you out. Voilà, c'est fini, merci de regarder. Je dois y aller maintenant parce qu'il me reste que 2 heures avant d'aller à la montagne pour faire du ski ce week-end. J'espère que vous avez appris quelque chose aujourd'hui que vous pouvez utiliser tout de suite dans votre vie de tous les jours. If you did enjoy the video, please click on the thumbs up down below, and of course, if you haven't subscribed already, please click on that big red subscribe button down below. It really helps the channel grow. And by all means, please share it with anyone else who may find it useful. But until next time guys, à la prochaine. Ciao.